I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on solutions to international test papers. Now, this is part of our global learning where we try to understand how mathematics is treated in different parts of the world. Now, this test paper is International GCSE foundation level. Now, here calculator is allowed, and for middle school students, these are excellent questions. So I'd like you to go through these questions, answer them. You're allowed calculator and you're also given formulas to be used. So these are the formulas which are provided. You may have a look at this formula, make a copy. They may be useful in solving some of the questions which appear in this test paper. I'll first share with you the questions and then provide complete solution. The duration of this test paper is 2 hours. So this video could be about 2 hours long. At some places, extended explanation may be given. And at the end, I'll also share with you some links for related questions. I hope that helps. Thanks for your time and enjoy the series on solving papers of international standards. Thank you and all the best. Here is question number 1. The diagram shows a shape on a centimeter grid. Find the area of the shape. Now to find the area, you can pause the video, answer this question, then look into my solutions. So let's go through the questions. So the other questions are to find the perimeter of the shape, write down the order of rotational symmetry of the shape, and on the shape, draw all the lines of symmetry. Correct? So these are the 4 parts to your question. Let's answer them one by one. So the very first one is to find the area of the shape. You need to count the squares, and the unit is centimeters. So it's good practice to write units also. Fortunately, you are actually given units here, centimeter square, along wherever you have to write the answer, right? So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we get 16 centimeter square is already mentioned. Then we need to find the perimeter. That means you start from a point. Let's say you start from here, right? So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 1, 26. So write down your answer 26 at the given space. Next one is write down the order of symmetry. So when we talk about order of rotational symmetry, it's kind of important to understand order of rotational symmetry, right? Now, rotational symmetry really means that within 0 to 360 degrees, that means one full rotation, how many positions are there when you get exactly the same shape, right? So one could be if you rotate it like 90 degrees, right? So if you rotate it 90 degrees, then you might get right, or what? So what you have here is, if you do rotation symmetry, then what you get, these are the 2 axes about which this is symmetrical, right? So that is part D. But anyway, as far as the rotational symmetry is concerned, in this particular figure, we have rotation symmetry of 2, right? So that is to say, you have to rotate it 180 degrees and then one full circle, correct? So then you get the rotation symmetry, and the answer is 2. So the order of rotation symmetry is 2. Part D is on the shape, draw all the lines of symmetry. Well, the lines of symmetry which I drew earlier, vertical line symmetric about, and then this horizontal line is also a line of symmetry for the given figure. So these are the 2 lines of symmetry, right? So we have 2 lines of symmetry here, which you could mention, but drawing was essential. Now let's look into question number 2, which is, the table shows the weights of 7 animals, right? So this is column for animals, their weight. Which of these animals has the greatest weight? Write the number 2506 in words. Write down the value of 7 in the number 2371. While the other questions are related to information, well, some of them are related to the table. Let me read them all. Write the number 1154 correct to the nearest 100. Which number in the table is a multiple of 5? And then the last question here is, work out the difference between the weight of giraffe and the weight of buffalo. So let's answer these questions one by one. The very first one is, which of these animals has the greatest weight? So all are given in kg. We have to only figure out which is the highest number. Well, the highest number here is 8491. So which of these has the greatest weight? It is elephant. So our answer here is elephant. Second question is, write the number 2506 in words, right? So the number 2506 is 2506. So we write this as 2000. Now, here is an option. Some places do not write and, some places do. So what I will do here, so 2500 I could have written 6 or and 6, right? So these that is optional, right? Is that clear? You may or may not write and, it means the same thing, and both are correct. C. Write on the value of 7 in the number 2370. So place value is 10, so this number is 70. Write the number 1154 correct to nearest 100. So we have to round it to nearest 100. You need to check the number next to it. So 10th number is 5 or more. We'll round higher. So we get 1200. The next question is, which number in the table is multiple of 5? Multiples of 5 means they should end with 5 or 0. So the number which ends with 5 here is 785. So that is the number which is multiple of 5. Clear? So let's write down that answer, which is 785. The last question is, work out the difference between the weight of giraffe and the weight of buffalo. So let's work out here weight of giraffe and weight of buffalo. So buffalo is 851, giraffe is 1391. So it is 1391, take away 851. Okay. So when you take away, you get 4 here, and then 13 gives you 5, right? So get 540, right? So the answer here is, which we will write lower. Let me just finish it off by writing here 540, right? The units are kg, which is good to mention. So I hope with this, the solution to that question is absolutely clear. Perfect. Now let's take question number 3. Here are first 5 terms of a number sequence, 3, 10, 17, 24, 31. Write down the next 2 terms of the sequence. Okay, so next 2 terms, 3, 10, 17. So we see that it's going up by 7, right? So you add 7 to get to the next term. So the next 2 terms, just add 7 to them and you can write down the answer. 31 plus 7 is 38, right? And 38 plus 7 is 45. So that is how we'll get the next 2 terms. So the next 2 terms are 38 and 45. Now explain how you worked out your terms, right? So the rule, pattern rule, is add 7 to the previous number. Is that clear? So that is your pattern rule. We also mentioned this as iterative rule, right? So by iteration. So you keep on repeating the same process, keep on adding 7. Now, the question is, work out the 18th term of the sequence. Now see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7th term. You could add up to 18th term and get your answer. But now we'll actually find an explicit rule, right? So here is a deviation. We are now looking for an explicit rule. That will be better, right? So let us see how to develop a pattern rule from the given information. We are multiplying by, we are adding 7 each time. So that means adding 7 5 times means 5 times 7 is added. You see that? So you're multiplying by 7. So the rule could be related with 7, right? So that is one way to look into it. So I'll show you 2 methods of writing explicit rule. So let me write method 1 and then method 2. Now this exercise is a learning exercise, and that is why I'm taking opportunity to explain. Now here the first term is 3, right, which we say first term, which let's write it A is 3. Common difference, we call this D. Let this be a variable D, is 7, right? You are adding 7 each time. So the next term you get by adding multiples of 7, right? So nth term, Tn, will be basically the first term. You can write this as also T1, the first term, right? Or in this formula, I'll write A plus n minus 1 times T. Because, see, moving from first term, this is your first term, this is the second, this is the third. In third term, you added only 2 7s, not 3. 1 less than 3. Do you see that? Then 1 less than 4. So n minus 1 makes it 1 less. So in our case, the nth term will be A is 3 plus n minus 7. You could actually multiply, rearrange. So you get 7 times n minus 7. Or you can write this as 7n minus 4. So you get your formula. Now this formula helps you to find the direct answer. You get the idea, right? Now the calculator is allowed sometimes for such questions. You could use calculator also. Now here is my shortcut method. Since I know that I have to multiply by 7 anyway, so I write my formula kind of direct. I want to find the second term, right? So I say 7 times 2 is 14. How do I get 10? Well, I have to take away 4 to get 10. So I have my rule. So my rule is 7 times the number of term minus 4. Do you see from logic? Again, this is my 4th term, right? I know I have to add 7s. I don't know how many. So 7 times 4 is 28. But I have 24. If I take away 4, I get 24. So I get my rule. So nth term is 7 times the number minus 4. So similarly, if I have to get the 18th term, in that case, what should I do? I'll write T18 as 7 times 18 minus 4. Does make sense to you? Right? So let's do it. 7 times 8 is 56, 5. 7 times 1 is 7 and 5 is 12. 126 minus 4 will give us 122. So that becomes our answer. But this method is very good and you can straight away find from the common difference. Is that clear to you? Right? Okay. Now, part D is work out the 34th term of the sequence. So you can apply this formula and work it out. You can apply that formula also. Both are same, right? So we write the 34th term. Okay, here we have something else. The 35th term of the sequence is 241. Sorry, I didn't read this. The 35th term is 241. Work out the 34th term, right? So we know 35th term is 241. We need to find 34th term. So I'll do just minus 7 to get my answer. Previous, correct? Previous term. So that's an easy way. So 11 take away 7 is 4 and then we get 2, 3, 1. So that will be my answer, right? 234. However, you could have used the explicit formula. So let us check our formula now. So what we will do here is, we'll multiply 35, work out the 34th term, so 7 times 34 and then do minus 4. Okay, 7 times 4 is 28, 7 times 3 is 21, 21 plus 2 is 23. From here we'll take away 4, so what do we get? We get 234, correct? The same answer. So the formula is absolutely correct. Now for some students, this is taught in higher levels, so therefore in this test paper we are working with iterative rule formula. Perfect. So I hope by now things are absolutely clear about the solutions given. Here is question number 4. So here is a bar graph which you need to study and answer the questions below. Question number 4. The bar chart shows information about the number of league titles won by each of the 5 football clubs up to 2016. So number of league titles, and these are different football clubs, right? Related to this, we have 3 questions. A. Write down the number of league titles won by Aston Villa. Arsenal has won 13 league titles. Draw a bar on the bar chart to show this information. Alex says the number of league titles won by Manchester City is 1/4 of the number of league titles won by Manchester United. Explain why Alex is wrong. So let's look into these solutions one by one. You can always answer them. Okay, so the very first one is write down the number of league titles won by Aston Villa. Now, so this is Aston Villa and that is the number of titles. It is a value right there between 6 and 8, so it is 7, right? So that is answer 7. Now we are given that Arsenal has won 13 league titles. So we have to show 13 here for Arsenal. So 13 is a point which is between 12 and 14, so somewhere here. So whenever we have to draw a bar graph, width should be same. So that is kind of very important to understand. And this distance should also be same, correct? So we mark like this, and let's make a bar here on the right side, and same width, right? So that is kind of important to understand. Same width, use a scale, and that becomes the bar for Arsenal, and that says 13, right? So this goes here, 13. Then we have Alex says the number of league titles won by Manchester City is 1/4 of the number of league titles won by Manchester United. Let's figure it out. Well, Manchester United is 20, right? So let me write 20 here, and Manchester City is 4. Now, what is the ratio? So ratio is 4 divided by 20, which is same as 1/5, correct? So it is not 1/4, but it is 1/5, right? So we can say, well, this is 1/5. Explain why Alex is wrong, right? So it is 1/5. It is 1/5, not 1/4, right? Since we can write down the calculation which we did just now, 4/20 is 1/5. Is that clear to you, right? So that is how you could explain the answer. Now this is part D of our question number 4. The question is, find the ratio of number of league titles won by Manchester United to the number of league titles won by Preston North End. Give your answer in its simplest form, right? So let's look into this. Manchester United, we figured out it is 20. Now what is Preston North End? So Preston North End is 2, right? So that is what it is. So the ratio is 20 to 2, right? So we can now provide the solution here. Find the ratio of number of league titles won by Manchester United. So winnings by Manchester United divided by winnings by Preston North End, which is 20 over 2 and is 10, right? So in the simplest form, it is 10 to 1, correct? Now let's see question number 5, which is, here are a number of runs scored by a cricket player in each of the 9 games of cricket. Find the median number of runs, and part B is, you need to work out the range, right? So these are the two things which you need to figure out. Now to find the median, we have to find the center number when they're arranged in a particular order. So let's try to arrange them in increasing order. So the first step here is to arrange in increasing order. Okay, so let's take 4, the lowest number, and then we have 8, and then we have 13, 16, 22, and then we have 36, 40, 55, and then 89. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers are there. Now for the median, the center number is what? Once arranged, there are 9 numbers, correct? So you do 9 plus 1 divided by 2, so which is 10 divided by 2, the fifth number, right? Fifth number in this case is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 22. And therefore, we know that the median is 22. In case there would have been 10 numbers, we would have got 2 numbers in the center and the average would be the median, correct? Okay, now part B is to work out the range. To find the range, we have to find the difference between the highest minus lowest, correct? Now in this case, the highest number is 89, so we'll do 89, take away, the lowest is 4, so we get here as 82. So the range is 82, right? So that is how we will actually solve this question. Now let's take question number 6. The table shows the midday temperature in each of the 5 cities on Tuesday 1 week. Which of these cities has the lowest temperature? Now this is about integers. So we have temperatures which are positive and negative. This is not really required, but we are just showing it on a scale. So on a scale, positive temperatures, if you write right on the up, let's say this is 25, that is the highest. The lower temperatures, let's say this is the temperature which is minus 30. Then in that case, the temperatures would be around, let's say, minus 11, minus 2, and minus 5. Correct? So these are the 5 temperatures shown. Now the question is, which of these cities had the lowest temperature? So the lowest is this, minus 30, Yellowknife, right? So this is the lowest temperature. And the city is Yellowknife. So we'll write the answer as Yellowknife. Part B is, work out the difference between the temperature in Dhaka and the temperature in Moscow. So we want to relate these two, temperature in Dhaka and in Moscow. So the difference between this 5 and 25 and minus 5, right? So it is, you can see, more than 25, right? So 25 minus 25. So this temperature will be 25 in Dhaka, take away negative 5, right? So the difference becomes 30 degrees. Now the next part of the question is, by midday on Wednesday, the temperature in Anchorage had fallen by 6 degrees. Work out the temperature in Anchorage at midday on Wednesday. So encouraged temperature is minus 11. So from minus 11, it goes down by 6 degrees. So it will reduce by 6. So minus 11 minus 6, it becomes further negative, right? So it is minus 17. So we get this temperature as minus 17 degrees Celsius. Is that clear to you, right? So that is how you're going to answer this question. So it becomes much lesser. So in integers, lesser means on this scale going downwards, right? So if this is 0 degrees, in that case going up will be positive temperatures, and below 0, lower is as far away from 0, right? Downwards. Question number 7. Shade 1/4 of the shape. Write 40% as a decimal. So first we need to shade 1/4. 1/4 means 1 out of 4. So let's find how many triangles can we have here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now there are 8 congruent triangles, correct? Now 1/4 of 8 is what? 1/4 of means times 8 means 2. So we have to shade 2 of them. So you could shade any 2 of them, correct? So let's shade these 2. So that is 1/4. Now we need to write 40% as a decimal. So 40% is basically 40 divided by 100, correct? So you can divide like this. So you get 4 out of 10. When you divide 4 by 10, you get this as 0.4, right? So that becomes 40%. So that is our answer. We can write here 0.4. So let's move on. Take the next question. Now remember, calculator is allowed for this test paper. So you could use calculator also. B equals to 6E minus 3F. Work out the value of B when E is 3.2 and F is minus 4. So the value of B will be equal to 6 times 3.2 minus 3 times minus 4, right? Substitute the values. Now that becomes 6 times 2 as 12, 1 decimal. 6 times 3, 18, plus 1, 19. Minus and minus becomes plus 12, right? So this could be written as, so after decimal we have like 12.0, right? 0.2, 9 plus 2 is 11, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3. So we get 31.2 as our answer, right? Now let's take question number 8. You can always pause the video, copy the question, solve, and then look into my suggestions. Question number 8. From the numbers in the box, write down a factor of 120, find the cube root of 32768, write down a prime number. Now 30 itself is a factor of 120, right? So the answer here is 30. We know we could divide 120 by 30. It goes 4 times, right? So 30 times 4 is 120. So we could get first answer as 30, right? So that becomes our answer. Part B is find the cube root of 32768. Now cube root is you need to multiply some number 3 times itself, right? So then you should get 8 at the end, right? So 32 seems to be the right answer, since you know what is 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So we are ending with 8. You get the idea, right? Since you are ending with 8, that should be the right answer. So the cube root should be 32, right? Now write down a prime number. 31, as we know, is the prime number. So 31 is the answer for this one. Question number 9 here is A, B, C are points on a circle with center O. We need to write down the mathematical name of the line O to C. Well, that is radius, right? And part 2 is measure the angle. Measure the size of the angle marked as X. So you can use a protractor to measure this angle, correct? So in this paper, you do need a geometry box, especially a protractor, set square, and a ruler. So you can place it here and measure it. So it is definitely less than 30 and can be 22 degrees, correct? So this angle is, 28 degrees. 2 degrees less, sorry. See, let's do it again. Right. It is 2 degrees less than 30, so it is 28 degrees, right? So it is 28 degrees. So that is our answer. So we can write this as 28 degrees. Now let's take the next question, which is question number 10. Now the next question here is, in the diagram, ABCD is a quadrilateral. DA and CB are parallel lines. So DA and CB are parallel lines. AFD and EFCG are straight lines. So this is a straight line, that one is also a straight line. Note, diagram is not accurately drawn. Now the question for you is, find the size of angle Y. So we need to find this angle. Okay. And part 2 of this question is to give reasons for your answer, right? So let's first find angle Y. Now since EFCD is a straight line, so we see EFCG is a straight line, correct? So that means this total angle should be 180 degrees, right? So that means the angle EFC equals to 180 degrees, right? So this angle as a whole should be equal to 180 degrees. So how much is Y? So Y is equal to 180 degrees, take away 150 degrees. So that gives us 30 degrees, correct? So we get 30 degrees as our answer. We need to give reason for your answer. Reason is this, right? A straight line is 180 degrees, right? So part angle is, so it's a supplementary angle. With 150 degrees. So it is total be 180 minus 150, right? So the combination is 180. Part C is find the size of angle W. Now angle W is how much? So if you look at it, we have these two as parallel sides. So angle W should be equal to 150 degrees, right? Since it is a corresponding angle, right? This is a corresponding angle. So find the size of angle W. It is 150 degrees, and the reason is that it is a corresponding angle. Correct? So when you have parallel lines and a transverse line, then the corresponding angles are equal. Question number 10. Here is a probability scale. A fair ordinary dice is thrown once. On the probability scale, mark with a cross the probability that the dice will land on a number less than 7. Label this cross as A. Well, in ordinary die, there are numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, when you're saying less than 7, it is 100% or 1. So the position is this, right? And we'll mark this as A. Clear? Second part is, on the probability scale, mark with a cross the probability that the dice will land on an odd number. So out of 6 numbers, the odd numbers are 1, 3, and 5. So 3 out of 6, right? So 3 out of 6 is half. So at half, we'll mark this as a cross and write down B. Is that clear to you? Now, Another part of this question is, here is a biased three-sided spinner. So red, blue and green. When the spinner is spun, it can land on red or on blue or on green. The table shows the probability that the spinner lands on red and the probability that the spinner lands on blue, right? These two are given to us. Now Roshan spins the spinner once. Work out the probability that the spinner lands on green. So we need to find this probability, right? Now it is important to note that this is a biased spinner, right? So it is not 1/3, it's different. But we know that the probability of all the events combined together is 1, and therefore the answer should be 1 takeaway 0.3 plus 0.25, correct? So it is 1 takeaway 0.55, correct? So that gives you, when you borrow from here, so you get 0. So when you take away from this 5, 10, so you get this, and from 9 you get 4, so you get 45%. So probability of getting green is 45% or 0.45. Is that clear to you, right? So work out the probability. So it is, you can write probability as, let me write it here, 0.45 or 45%. Okay, so let's take up now the question number 11. Now this is simplification. Simplify x squared plus x squared plus x squared. There are 3x squares, it is 3x squared, correct? Next is simplify 4e plus 2f minus 6e plus 7f. We have to combine like terms, correct? Combine like terms. So like terms here are e's and f's, right? So we could do like this. 4e minus, we could write like this. 4e minus 6e, then we have plus 2f plus 7f. So 4 minus 6 is minus 2, right? So minus 2e, 7 plus 2 is 9, so plus 9f. So we get this as minus 2e plus 9f. Correct? Part C is to simplify 2 times a times 4 times b. So we can multiply 2 and 4. We get the number 8 and ab, right? So we get 8ab as our answer, right? Solve for w, right? So when you say solve, you have to find the value of the unknown variable, which is w in this case. So what we can do here is, we have w over 4 equals to 12. Since we need the value of w, we can multiply by 4 on both the sides, correct? So this 4 cancels and we get w equals to 4 times 12, which is 48. So 48 is our answer. The last question is solve for y. And this time we are given 5y plus 2 equals to 14. So we have to use more than one step to solve. So we are given 5y plus 2 equals to 14. We can take away 2. So we get 5y equals to 14 minus 2. That is 5y equals to 12. Now we can divide by 5. So we get 12 over 5 as our answer. So you could write this answer as 12 over 5. Or you could just divide by 5 and then write down the answer in decimals, right? So 5 times 2 is 10 and 20 is 4. So you could write here as 2.4 or 12 over 5, right? Both are same. So that completes half of our test paper. Now let's take the later half, starting with question number 12 after a break. Now I hope you understand and appreciate what we're doing here. The whole idea is to get the concepts for solving such a paper. In case you have any doubts, you can always email me on the address given here. Feel free to write your comments and share your views. Thanks for your time.